Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the 9 p.m. English News Edition brought to you live from RTD channel. And tonight, as headlines, we have and as part of the emergency response to the drought, the first humanitarian aid distribution operations have begun in the hardest hit areas. And on the international scene, a ceasefire talks in Gaza are ongoing. U.S. officials have expressed optimism. Those were the top stories, and welcome back in our newsroom. Let's begin tonight news with this humanitarian aid begins in Dakhil region to help drought-affected families. And as part of the national response to the ongoing droughts launched by President Soumaïla Omar Guelleh, a large humanitarian aid operation began on Tuesday morning, July 8, 2025, in that region. Earlier this morning, trucks carrying food arrived in several hard-hit areas, including Galakti, Sadli, Kutabuya, and Bekiri. A total of 216 families received food supplies. Animal feed was also given out to help local herders protect their livestock, a key resource in the region. The operation was closely supervised by Dakhil Prefect Hassan Abdi Roble. He was joined by the head of the Riyadh Corps, the commander of the Dakhil Gendarmerie, and the regional deputy director from the Ministry of Agriculture. A mobile health team led by the chief doctor of Dakhil was also sent to the area. Their goal is to visit all affected zones to provide basic medical care and support vulnerable people. This major operation will continue in the coming days. And during his speech, the Riyadh Corps Commander Colonel Ibrahim Ali Farah emphasized that this humanitarian distribution operation marks the launch of the mission in the Galalatic region. Additionally, he said that the operation has reached other areas affected by drought. This large-scale humanitarian distribution, said the colonel, is part of the president's call to provide assistance to populations. And for his part, the prefect of Dakhil region, Hassan Abdi Roble, explained that the reason that the drought had deeply impacted several areas, particularly remote rural regions in Dakhil. He said that the President of the Republic had issued an urgent call to deliver emergency aid to the affected population. He added that the government, under the leadership of Prime Minister Abdul Qadir Kamil Mohammed, along with Ministers of Interior, Social Affairs, Solidarity, Agriculture, Defense, had responded to this President's call. According to the prefect of Dakhil region, Hassan Abdi Roble, all state institutions were actively working together to assist those in need in these areas. Now, beneficiaries did not fail to express their gratitude for the timely arrival of the aid, which they said came quickly in response to the call made by the President of the Republic. They did not fail to thank the government for this valuable support, which included not only essential food supplies but also medical care provided by the Ministry of Health. And now this emergency aid delivered to drought-hit villages now in Tajura region. And as part of the National Action Plan to combat the severe effect of the ongoing drought, a humanitarian mission was carried out in Tajura region, led by the prefect Mohammed Abbas. The delegation visited several hard-hit areas, including Monkour and Balho in the Doura sub-prefecture. The team included the vice president of the regional council as well as a representative from the ministries of Agriculture and Health. This initiative is part of the government's ongoing efforts to reduce the impact of climate change on rural communities and their livestock. In total, 5 trucks loaded with food, supplies, and animal feed were also sent to those areas in Moncourt, located about 30 kilometers from Dora. 2 trucks deliver more than 300 sacks of food and animal feed to affected families. In Balho, where residents of the Siyaro sector have been especially hard hit by drought, 3 trucks brought over 400 sacks of aid, including feed for livestock. This emergency operation aims to meet the urgent needs of people suffering from drought, while also showing the authorities' commitment to building community resilience in the face of climate change. The government reaffirmed its commitment to continue and reinforce efforts to support those families. In his remarks, the prefect of the Jura region, Mohammed Hamad Abbas, emphasized the seriousness of the situation. He noted that in several areas, residents were suffering from a severe lack of water. According to him, thirst had forced many families to leave their villages, particularly in Garabtu, Siyaro, and Hilu. The prefect of the region added that some communities had no choice but to transport water using caravans, underlining the urgent need for intervention. He did not fail to explain that the ongoing humanitarian operation supported by the government aims to bring relief to the affected population by providing essential drinking water, food supplies, and feed for livestock. He assured that aid deliveries will continue to reach all areas impacted by the drought. In other reaction, residents of Moncourt are grateful for government support. Residents who receive government aid expressed their deep gratitude. A local elder from the village of Moncourt said that their community was among the first to benefit from the emergency assistance, adding that people were in urgent need and facing very difficult living conditions. A total of 180 families in Moncourt received aid during the operation. The elder did not fail to thank the government and local representative for their efforts. A young woman also from the same village also shared her appreciation, saying she was thankful for the support provided during this challenging time. Drought relief reaches rural communities now in Al Sabih region. Outside the main region of Al Sabih, rural communities, particularly in the remote areas of Gastir, near the sub-locality of Ali Adde, are facing severe hardship due to the ongoing drought conditions. The situation rained in a long time and livestock have no pasture. On top of the lack of food, animals are suffering from deadly disease. Many have grown weak and are dying in large numbers. Locals, especially nomadic herders, said that the repeated droughts have made their livestock extremely vulnerable. This is especially serious. It is destroying our main way of life, said one of residents in response to the exceptional drought affecting several parts of the country. The government of the Republic of Djibouti had stepped up efforts to assist the hardest hit populations. This nationwide mobilization follows the urgent appeal of the head of state calling for swift, united, and coordinated action to address the worsening humanitarian crisis in Djibouti. And as part of this effort, the first convoy of emergency food and essential supplies arrived this morning in Gestir and this marked a key milestone in the implementation of the National Emergency Response Plan to support drought-affected rural population. The large-scale operation was supervised on site by the prefect of Al Sibih region, Abdul Malik Mohammed Banoita. He was accompanied by the president of the regional council, Sharmaka Hassan Alali, the sub-prefect of Ali Ade, Shaban Dahir, the regional director of the Ministry of Agriculture, Livestock and Fisheries. And as a reaction, local authorities welcome emergency response efforts. Speaking on the ground in Gaster, regional officials, the prefect of Al Sibih region, Abdul Malik Mohammed Banoita, expressed his deep concern over the worsening drought and praised the government's rapid response. He acknowledged the dire situation faced by rural populations and commended the national mobilization as a timely and life-saving intervention. He did not fail to emphasize that the aid delivery will reflect a strong commitment to stand by vulnerable communities in times of crisis. And other local leaders, including Sub-Prefect Shaban Dahir and regional technical staff, described the operation as a critical boost to help sustain both people and livestock. Moving on to the next story, Djibouti's National Assembly President meets a French Senate President in Paris. And as part of his participation in the 50th session of the Parliamentary Assembly of La Francophonie, Dileita Mohamed Dileita, the Speaker of the National Assembly of the Republic of Djibouti, was officially received today, Wednesday, by Gérard Larcher, President of the French Senate, at the Palais du Luxembourg, the seat of the French Senate. The dignitary was received with all the ceremonial honors appropriate to his status, including a red carpet welcome and the presence of the French Republican Guard, underscoring the importance of the visit. The meeting aimed to reinforce parliamentary ties between the two institutions and provided a valuable opportunity for fruitful discussion on common interests, including inter-parliamentary cooperation and the deepening of friendly relations between Djibouti and France. The Djiboutian delegation led by Dileita Mohamed Dileita include Aid Moussaid Yahya, Ambassador of Djibouti to France, the Deputy Omar Abdullahi Ahmed, Deputy President of the Djiboutian section of the APF, and MP Ilayya Ismail Gedi, member of the Djiboutian section of the APF, and also President of the opposition party UDG. On the French side, Gérard Larcher was accompanied by Loïc Hervé, Vice President of the Senate, and Pascal Alizard, President of the Senate Committee on Foreign Affairs, Defense and Armed Forces. Both parties highlighted the historic and unique relationship between Djibouti and France, founded on trust, solidarity, and multifaceted cooperation rooted in long-standing ties. The meeting marked by cordiality and mutual respect. Let's come back now to the country. INEP hosts a certificate ceremony for English training program supported by U.S. Embassy. And under the high patronage of the Ministry of Labor, the National Institute of Public Administrations held a solemn ceremony to award certificates to participants who completed an English training course conducted in partnership with the United States Embassy. The training delivered by American experts lasted 8 months at INEP and benefited employees from various government ministries. The ceremony was attended by Omar Ziad, Minister of Employment, Cynthia Kiesh, U.S. Ambassador to Djibouti, Shamaka Idris, Director General of INEP, advisors from various parties and participants representing different ministries. And during this significant event, 60 participants honored for their dedication and successful completion of the crucial training program. The ceremony also included an exchange of gifts, followed by group photo session.
we need another step. It is online system, training online. We need to have to continue our effort. Thank you for your support. Thank you for your commitment. I'd like to say something. Thank you, Mr. Idris, for your all arrangement, organization, technical support towards our team with Fozia and her team, Zainab, and all person who help us. Thank you for all.
And now let's listen to the U.S. ambassador to Djibouti.
Honored to join you here today to celebrate the completion of the English Language Virtual Educator Program and to honor you, its graduates. As U.S. Secretary of State Condoleezza Rice once said, language proficiency is not just about words, it's about understanding perspectives, building trust, and opening doors to new opportunities in a global economy. As I have learned through my own personal journey of studying a language, learning a language is an investment that pays off tremendously over time. It opens doors to professional success, connects you to the world as global citizens, and builds confidence and adaptability in a rapidly changing world. It also fosters cross-cultural learning and sharing, enabling meaningful relationships between individuals as well as between communities and nations. The investment you have made in yourselves over the past 4 months has the potential to multiply. Your individual efforts to achieve your ambitions will amplify the collective vision of a prosperous Djibouti. Through your participation in this program, you have demonstrated a dedication to investing in yourselves and expanding your horizons. The hard work is vital to your professional development. It will yield dividends as you advance in your current roles and seize new opportunities in the future.
In his address, the Minister of Labor of Djibouti expressed his satisfaction and pride in the results achieved, emphasizing that the project reflects the government's strong commitment to improving public administration and modernizing its tools to meet the demands of international openness and engagement. He praised the fruitful cooperation with the U.S. Embassy, which played a key role in the success of the initiative. The Minister of Labor gave a special recognition to the U.S. ambassador for her valuable support and contribution to the project's implementation. He also extended his thanks to the National Institute of Public Administration for its technical oversight and to the training partners from Camp Lemonnier who participated in the second phase of the program. This initiative, he said, is part of a broader vision to equip public servants with effective communication tools in international settings. The minister stressed that public communication is not a luxury but a necessity for transparency. And now the Minister of Communication, Radwan Abdullahi Bahdon, is attending the 2025 World Summit on the Information Society in Geneva from July 7 to 11, 2025. This summit is the largest annual global gathering of ICT stakeholders focused on sustainable development. It is co-organized by ITU, UNESCO, UNDP, UNCTAD, and other UN agencies. The 2025 forum provides a platform to exchange information, share best practices as well. An important meeting on AU Djibouti Development Cooperation held at Kempinski Hotel. And this morning at Kempinski Hotel, a key meeting was held on development cooperation between the European Union and the Republic of Djibouti, organized jointly by the Ministry of Economy and Finance in charge of industry and the delegation of the European Union. The meeting brought together government officials, implementing partners, and representatives of EU member states. The goal was to review the progress of projects funded under the EU-Djibouti partnership, especially within the NDICI Global Europe 2021-2027 program and to reinforce monitoring and coordination of actions on the ground. The meeting had two parts: a strategic session chaired by the Minister of Economy and Finance and the EU ambassador, followed by a technical session with implementation partners to discuss concrete challenges and best practices. In her speech, the EU ambassador reaffirmed the EU's commitment to support Djibouti's Vision 2035. This new consultation framework aims to make development aid from effective, transparent, and better aligned with the national priorities, especially the 2025-2030 National Development Plan. For her part, the European Union ambassador to Djibouti affirmed in an official meeting that the partnership between EU, Djibouti, and African countries is steadily growing. She emphasized that the EU is committed to reinforcing its role as a trusted and active partner in regional and international development and stability. In her speech, the European Union ambassador to Djibouti noted that the meeting took place just days after the United Nations conference in Seville, which resulted in what is known as the Seville outcome. This outcome set a new foundation for international cooperation in development. She called for focus, efficiency, and tangible results in development programs, especially given the growing global challenges. The ambassador also added that the EU goes beyond statement by working on the ground through a multilateral partnership mechanism. In his address, the Secretary General of the Ministry of Economy and Finance emphasized that this meeting goes beyond discussion bilateral cooperation files. It represents a valuable opportunity to review the progress made and define a shared future vision within the framework of the development partnership between the two sides. He pointed out that this meeting holds special importance as it takes place in the context of activating the multi-annual financial framework 2021-2027, which marks a significant shift in the way development cooperation is implemented. He explained that this initiative resulting from coordination between the Ministry of Finance and the European Union delegation aims to put in place a regular and organized monitoring mechanism for cooperation projects. And now this national workshop on school meals held in Djibouti. This morning, the Ministry of National Education and Vocational Training, in a partnership with the World Food Programme, held an important national consultation workshop at the Sheraton Hotel. The goal of this meeting was to develop standard balanced menus for school canteens across the country. The workshop was chaired by the Secretary General of the Ministry and the WFP representative in Djibouti. It brought together regional inspectors, central directors, a representative of international organizations, health authorities, and nutrition experts. The main aim was to create menus that meet students' nutritional needs while reinforcing cooperation between education, health, and nutrition sectors. Mrs. Saida, responsible for school canteens at the ministry, presented the school feeding program in Djibouti. Linda Qayad shared also findings from the National Nutrition Fund about students' need. The WFP country director praised the initiative, saying that school meals are crucial to children's access to education and health, especially in rural areas. He also highlighted the government's strong commitment, calling Djibouti one of the few countries funding its schools' canteens from its own budget. For his part, the director of the World Food Programme welcomed this initiative, explaining that school feeding is a key driver for children's access to education and health. He emphasized that the workshop provided participants with an opportunity to exchange experience and ideas on developing appropriate menus to promote children's health and educational success, especially in rural and remote areas. And in turn, the Secretary General of the Ministry of National Education and Vocational Training, Mohammed Abdullah Mahyoub, stressed the importance of this approach for educational success. He noted that a well-nourished child is more attentive and efficient. He did not fail to thank the partners, including nutrition experts and health workers, for their role in improving the menus, affirming that the combined efforts of all stakeholders will help create a healthy and safe learning environment, paving the way for a generation capable of learning, creativity, and active participation in building the nation's future. And still with the national news, the headquarters of the Djibouti Red Crescent hosted a highly important meeting, bringing together members of the National Executive Committee of the Djibouti Red Crescent and a delegation from the Japanese Red Cross on an official visit to the country. This meeting marked the conclusion of a strategic partnership agreement between the two national societies focused on environmental protection and the fight against global warming.
Societies. So our partner, Japanese Red Cross, we really appreciate for your take on the problem that was raised in front of you, and they come to support Djibouti Red Crescent.
I was very impressed by the people's life. The hot and dry climate in Djibouti is extremely harsh, but the people living here, they try to adapt themselves with their wisdom and creativity. Even this harsh situation, people here collaborate with each other, and especially Egyptian Red Crescent people try to help people. I'm very impressed.
And now we'll listen to the president of the Djibouti Red Crescent Society.
Climate change poses a growing threat to the Republic of Djibouti, impacting the very foundation of its communities. The country faces frequent and severe climate-related hazards, such as drought, extreme heat, floods, and cyclones that undermine socioeconomic stability and endanger its most vulnerable population. All 6 regions are affected, with Dekil and Obak being particularly at risk due to their nomadic population, a chronic water shortage, limited agriculture capacity, and reliance on food import further worsen situation, threatening both in livelihoods and national food security.
On last July 6, 2025, following enhanced maritime surveillance by the Djiboutian Coast Guard on Navy and the strategic area of the Bab el-Mandeb Strait, the Gulf of Aden, and the Red Sea, a distress call was received from the Liberian flagged cargo ship known as Magic Seas. In response, the Djiboutian Coast Guard and Navy immediately launched a sea rescue operation. 2 Coast Guard patrol boats and 2 Navy vessels already deployed in the area for maritime security missions were mobilized to secure and escort the commercial vessel Safine, which took aboard the 22 crew members of the Magic Seas, all safe and unharmed. The Magic Seas was severely damaged following an armed attack by several small, heavily armed vessels near the entrance to the Red Sea. The attack caused a fire on board, forcing the crew to leave the ship. Moving on now to the world news, negotiations for a ceasefire in Gaza are ongoing. The Palestinian resistance, led by Hamas, insists on maintaining its demand and refuses to surrender after 642 days of conflict. Hamas leader stated that releasing Israeli prisoners can only happen through a serious agreement with the resistance. Meanwhile, U.S. President Donald Trump described the situation in Gaza as tragic and emphasized the need for a solution. So that's it for tonight's news. Thanks for being with us and have a good night.